Hello, and welcome back to Kinsley Custom Guitars for part 3 of the Stratocaster rebuild. I don't know if that's the official name for this, but we'll run with it. Today, we are going to take this warped pickguard and transfer all of the electronics onto a new one, which just came in the mail. So here is our new genuine Fender white pickguard, our new back plate, and some new screws. So those can go off to the side right now. We are focused on the pickguard. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy out. Alright, so here's the new pickguard, here's the old one. Definitely a marked difference in coloration. This one's definitely a little bit more yellowed than the brand new one. So I think to start, I'm going to use our trusty screwdriver. And we're going to use this nifty little wrench tool that has a felt back to pop off the volume knobs and these teeth here. Grab the nuts on the pots so you can loosen them, get the pickups out, and probably give all of this stuff that shows a good cleaning. Like these pickups are kind of gross, but again, it's probably just because it's all white and it's just looking worse than it actually is, but we'll definitely give this all a good clean. So I will probably do the transfer in a time lapse. Obviously I'll stop the time lapse if I have any issues arise or anything like that, but for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, we got the whole pickguard transferred over. Looks pretty dang good if I do say so myself. I was playing around with the idea of replacing the covers with new ones that I have from my single coil pickup building days. But they just didn't fit the bobbins quite as well as the OEM Fenders did. So I'll just live with that slightly yellow to it, and that way the pickup covers and the control knobs all kind of match each other. Also, I cleaned this off camera because we are going to put all of this in the body. So let's get Mr. Towel out, grab the body that we cleaned up in the last video. So first things first, we want these wires in the control cavity when we put the pickguard on and get ready to solder it. So let's go ahead and just feed those on through. We'll grab 2 screws. Alright, output jack is reinstalled, and whenever you do anything like this, now is an excellent time to tighten down that nut as snug as you can get it, because they do back up, and on these recessed jacks like Fenders have, they're difficult to get to without a socket, so it's best to do it while it's all apart and it's easy to get to. So next, we've got our soldering iron heated up, and we are going to have to re-tie together all the grounds and put them back on the volume pot where they were before. The time lapse didn't do a good job of it in the first video, but that was very difficult to get desoldered. I had to flow a little bit of new solder on there before it would even think about starting to melt. So all we're gonna do here is we are going to twist these wires back into the braid best as we can. They all serve the same purpose of grounding different components in the body cavity. Why can't we have 3 arms? Now the difficult part, getting this soldered back into this large puddle. So the secret to doing these pots is, since you have so much mass to heat up before the solder will start flowing, is you just gotta be patient, and you gotta have a pretty high temperature soldering iron to be able to do it in any reasonable amount of time. And what you're watching for is the point that the solder bead starts to become seamless with the pot around it. There's not a discernible dome. Alright, it's not amazing, but that will definitely hold. Always be sure to clean your solder tip. Cleaning your tip is always good advice. And there's one more solder connection that we need to make before this is ready to go back in, and this is the output wire that was right here. And in the previous video, I did not get this pulled out cleanly, and I had to cut it out because this wire was wrapped around the post before it got soldered. So now I gotta get creative with how I put it back on. You guys ready for some left-handed solder action? Now the cover can go back on. This is always the most finicky part of all this. It's getting it back in to where it sits nicely and it doesn't rest on any wires. There we go. And since we used all genuine fender parts in this build, all of the holes line up perfectly. And that is the primary reason I paid Fender's asking price for this very expensive piece of plastic, because I did not want to have to deal with re-drilling any holes. All the screws are in. This is officially installed. Just making sure the trem block fits. It does, and it's got room to pivot. All right, we will not be installing this or the back cover in this video, as this one has probably already run long enough as it is. But that tremolo has to go in before the back cover can go in, and I think it would be a cool thing to do to show how to set up a tremolo. So I think I'm gonna do this one floating. I know it can mess with your tuning stability, but I do like being able to go back and forth with the pitch rather than just down. So I prefer my Stratocasters to have floating tremolos. And that's how I am going to set up this one. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. If you're liking what I'm doing on the channel, consider subscribing. Until the next video, I will see you guys later. Take care and have a good rest of your day.